I'm not a believer in major change. I don't think major change is sustainable. You need incremental change. Incremental, consistent change is the most likely avenue to real change, real long-term change. You've tried different techniques or ways to overcome slumps, humps, hurdles, and you don't know how to overcome your current challenges. Definitely, use Hassan's services. My name is Hasnain Sayed. I'm a digital marketer and strategist. I help cause-based brands increase their revenue and reach through digital ads and creating compelling video content. I've been in the space of digital marketing for 10 to 12 years. And before that, I was a designer and created iPad apps and created digital versions of magazines for the iPad.
Awesome.
It was really challenging to organize all the moving parts of running a business, of managing a family, of personal health, of ensuring that I was giving my best self and being present to the most important people and elements in my life. So it was overwhelming, and I had consistent areas of weakness that I very vaguely identified, and I definitely did not have a clear idea or path on how to get to solving those challenges or weak points. That's how it was before. So it was a lot of like energies like this, right, where I would have low levels of energy and low production, and then super high production and constantly working 12-14 hour days, and then back down again and just exhausted. So it's not a very sustainable or a likable way to live for me. It may be for somebody else, but for me, that's the way I was working and living, and I didn't feel that it was very sustainable. So I wanted to make a change. That I was looking for, and the number one thing that was always present is accountability. We would end calls with specific actionable steps that I would need to take. And I definitely have to say, like, you've always been very generous in providing not only resources, but connections, introductions to people that help me to address some of the areas that I needed to be working on. But doing it would be focused on what you wanted to bring to the table in terms of the coaching. What are the elements that we need to be discussing this week? And then also, I brought to the table what are some of my concerns or challenges that I've been facing, either with respect to personal performance or my business performance. And we would address both those things during our sessions. And although our sessions were always scheduled for 60 minutes, they always went over. And again, I just want to say, like, thank you for that generosity, because that generosity of time is really, sometimes, it takes, 20-30 minutes just to kind of build up steam. And as you're going, it kind of sucks, to stop just when the ball is rolling. So the fact that you've also scheduled your time, scheduled your sessions to have natural gaps and opportunity for going over, especially when we're in flow, it helped me significantly, because we were able to not only address a particular problem or challenge, but actually fine tune in digging deeper to see it more clearly, and then identify some possible paths to move forward. I really underestimated and undervalued the time it takes to summarize everything that happened in the week before and plan what needs to be done in the next week. Step forward. So step back over the course of the next week. What were some of the wins? where did I fall short? Why did I fall short? What can I do about it next week? And then planning out the next week, moving forward, what are my, the major things that I need to hit? How am I going to hit them? How am I going to break it down into more manageable tasks, and then scheduling them over the course of the next week? The next point is that when something doesn't happen, to break down the why and identify the cause, so that it doesn't feel amorphous. It doesn't feel like a vague reason, but you kind of build down to the specifics, because when you have something specific, you can actually solve for it. You can, you need to see your enemy in order to fight it. And sometimes, procrastination is never a good enough reason. The scheduling didn't work out isn't a good enough reason. So when you would force me and ask me the why and 2, 3, 4, 5 levels deep, then we would figure out, well, here's the reason, why it wasn't working. And that was hugely helpful for me, because I would leave it in the past. I would leave reasons why I don't do something to 1 or 2 levels deep. But then if I go further and further, it forces me to uncover like the realistic reasons. And they may be reasons that I don't like. That's the thing. There may be reasons that I've been covering up subconsciously because it's maybe it's a weakness, or maybe it's something that I've been practicing. It's negative behavior that I've been practicing for so long that it that I don't think enough about it. So when you dig deep and you uncover reasons why, you can then at least have a path to dig yourself out. And that was, another huge takeaway. And then the third thing I would say is really the marrying of, personal performance and business coaching, particularly because you came from a background that I am in now, digital advertising. It helped, and it gave me insights that I wouldn't have with somebody else who didn't have the day-to-day experience of being in that space. I'm not a believer in major change. I don't think major change is sustainable. Like you can have great aha moments, but you need incremental change. Incremental, consistent change is the most likely avenue to real change, real long-term change. If you're someone that feels you're stuck, whether it's in your personal growth, in your business, in your marriage, or responsibilities that are important to you, if you feel that or not even responsibilities, but even pursuits, if you feel that you're stuck and you don't know how to get past your repeated missteps, how to get past the repeated times that you trip, or the reasons why you trip, and you're not seeing growth in those areas that matter to you, this is going to be really helpful. For me personally, I realized, for whoever's listening, like one of the things I realized was I have a significant energy deficit. And there are some obvious reasons for the energy deficit, right? Lack of consistent and good quality sleep, exercise, eating well, drinking consistently, giving yourself breaks over the course of the day. By the way, that last one, like Hassan, like you just kept reminding me about that last one, because I go hard all the way for long periods of time, or I don't do anything for long periods of time. And again, it's not sustainable, it's not healthy, it's not how you grow. But like those simple things were really helpful and insightful. But the thing that really opened my eyes was the clarity session. When you don't have clarity on what you're doing, and you don't have internal drive, you can have all the other variables, but you'll still be lacking. And if you don't have those variables, and you have that sense of clarity and purpose, it's the extra fuel in the tank that you didn't think you had. It's the extra fuel in the tank that you forgot about. So when that clarity session for me was really helpful, in identifying, in giving gas to the days where I felt I didn't have the energy to execute. But when I look back at like my purpose, my personal mission statement, my values, who do I want to be? What's the kind of person that I want to be? Like it I don't know, that's like it magically, um like adds fuel to the tank, and it adds a sense of purpose, and it adds a sense of clarity, and it adds a sense of direction, um that I wasn't able to tap into before. So to answer the question, who is this good for? If you feel that, you've tried different techniques or ways to overcome slumps, humps, hurdles, and you don't know how to overcome your current challenges, definitely, use Hassan's services. If you feel, um, that you have a lot more potential, but you're not seeing it, you're not realizing the potential that you feel that you have innately, utilize Hassan's services, because you'll get insights, um, that will help you both to overcome the shortcomings or weaknesses or humps that you have, but to also help you to come closer to realizing the potential that you see in yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you're looking for a coach, it's because one of two things: you're either frustrated at yourself, or it's because you're frustrated with yourself. Either because you're in a slump and you need a way out, or because you've hit a wall and you're capable of more, but you don't know how to extract more, but you're frustrated nonetheless. Be kind to yourself. Like we can be our worst enemies and our worst critics, but we can also be our best cheerleaders. And we need to be, like, it sounds corny as hell, but we do need to be our own best friends, because we tend to beat ourselves up and stomp on ourselves when we aren't doing what we think we're capable of. But how much more can we do if we're actually kind and not look for excuses? There's a big difference. How much more of ourselves can we, what better versions of ourselves can we reach if we are kind to ourselves, not giving ourselves excuses, but we are kind and we look for solutions, not repeatedly point at the problems.